There's a version of you right now, living the life you only dream about. And the only thing keeping you from it is your frequency. They have the clarity, the peace, the confidence, the abundance, the love. And they're not waiting. They're not chasing. They're not visualizing endlessly or repeating affirmations hoping something will change. They've already become it. And you're just one shift away from meeting them. This is not a metaphor. It's a quantum reality. And once you understand how to access this version of yourself, your entire life can change faster than you ever thought possible. Not through force, not through hustle, but through something much deeper. Something that most people never learn. You don't create a new reality through action. You do it through frequency. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover what quantum jumping really is and what it's not. Why your current identity is holding your reality in place. How to shift timelines by aligning with the version of you who already has what you want. The biggest mistake people make that blocks the jump, and a practical, powerful method to activate a real timeline shift. Starting today. But this video isn't just about learning. It's about remembering, because deep inside you, something already knows. You were never meant to wait for your dream life. You were designed to jump into it. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how. But first, let's open the portal. Before we dive in, I need you to know something. Quantum jumping isn't magic. It's mechanics. Of energy, of consciousness, of identity. It doesn't require years of spiritual practice or scientific knowledge. It only requires one thing: a willingness to let go of who you've been, so you can become who you already are. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a concept. By the time we finish, I'll share a practical technique that you can apply tonight to start collapsing the old timeline and aligning with the version of you that's already living the life you crave. You're not here by accident. You're here because your future self is calling you back. First of all, let's clear the fog. When most people hear the term quantum jumping, they picture something wild, like teleportation, astral projection, a wormhole opening in their living room, or maybe even a sci-fi movie where someone travels to a parallel universe and meets an alternate version of themselves. It's easy to think it's something magical, or something mystical that only a few people can access. But here's the truth. Quantum jumping is not about escaping reality. It's about shifting your relationship to it. And once you understand what it really is, not in theory, but in your body, in your frequency, you realize it's one of the most natural and accessible things you've ever done. In fact, you've already quantum jumped many times. You just didn't know you were doing it. So, what is quantum jumping? At its core, quantum jumping is the process of shifting your energetic signature, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your vibration, to align with a version of reality where a different you already exists. A version of you who has the clarity, the joy, the courage, the money, the relationship, the purpose, the peace. That version is not a fantasy. That version is real, existing right now in the quantum field of infinite potential. Quantum physics has long proposed the idea of the multiverse, that every choice, every possibility, every thought spawns a new reality. And while some scientists debate the literal existence of parallel universes, what matters for us is this: your consciousness chooses which version of reality you collapse into. The you who continues in the same patterns is just one of many. But there's also a you who broke the cycle. A you who chose a different frequency, and with it, a different life. Quantum jumping is the process of choosing that you. Let's bring this down to earth. In the famous double slit experiment, particles behave like waves of infinite possibilities until they are observed. And then, boom, they collapse into a fixed point. That's reality, infinite potential, until your observation, your attention, your belief, your expectation collapses one of those potentials into form. Now imagine that instead of particles, we're talking about versions of you. Which version are you observing? Which version are you expecting? Which one are you emotionally entangled with? Because that's the one you're living. And here's the key most people miss. You don't shift timelines by thinking about it. You shift by becoming a vibrational match to the version of you in that reality. It's not thought alone. It's thought plus emotion plus identity. That combination creates the energetic password the quantum field recognizes. Let's get something straight. Quantum jumping is not daydreaming about a better life and waiting for it to show up, repeating affirmations while still feeling unworthy, trying to force the universe to bring something faster, escaping your current reality because you're dissatisfied. That's not jumping. That's avoidance. And the quantum field doesn't respond to fantasy. It responds to frequency. If you're still rooted in fear, doubt, lack, or unworthiness, you're locked into the version of you that vibrates with those emotions. No matter how hard you wish for something else, you don't get what you want. You get who you are. Quantum jumping requires a true shift in being. You've already jumped, you just didn't know it. Think back to a time in your life when something changed. Suddenly. Maybe you had a wake-up call. Maybe you took a risk. Maybe you let go of something toxic. Maybe you started acting like someone new, before there was evidence that it would work. And suddenly, life changed. You felt different. People responded to you differently. Opportunities appeared. Everything just clicked. That was a quantum jump. It didn't happen because the universe decided to give you a break. It happened because you shifted timelines by aligning with a new frequency of self. And the moment you did, a new version of reality became accessible. You've done it before. Now it's time to do it intentionally. Why this matters. Understanding. This isn't just fascinating, it's liberating. Because it means you're never stuck. You're never doomed to repeat the same patterns. You're never truly trapped in your current identity. The door to your next level life isn't locked. It's just vibrating at a frequency you haven't tuned into yet. And once you do, everything shifts. You don't need to wait for a sign. You don't need to earn it. You just need to choose it. And choosing it means becoming the one who already lives it. In the next minutes, I'll show you how to do exactly that. You'll discover why identity is the bridge between timelines, and how to align with the version of you who already has what you want. Ready to jump? Let's go. Here's a truth that might shake your entire belief system. You're not manifesting your reality through effort. You're manifesting it through identity, and until you shift who you are being, energetically, emotionally, vibrationally, no external shift will last. Because in the quantum field, it's not about chasing outcomes. It's about matching frequencies, and your frequency isn't set by what you want. It's set by who you believe you are. Let's imagine this. Right now, there are infinite versions of you existing in parallel, each one making different choices, holding different beliefs, living different outcomes. There's a version of you who isn't afraid to speak their truth, has a magnetic relationship, lives in financial abundance, feels deeply fulfilled, moves with clarity, confidence, and peace. This version of you isn't better or more deserving. They're just aligned with a different identity, and therefore a different frequency. And because of that frequency, they're in a different timeline. Now here's where most people get stuck. They try to change the outer world. Take new actions, say new affirmations, visualize new things, but they're still carrying the same core identity underneath. So no matter what they do, they keep jumping back into the same version of reality. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. Let's make this practical. You want abundance? Stop acting like someone who's broke, stressed, or proving their worth. Start embodying the energy of someone who trusts, who flows, who receives easily. You want love? Stop acting like someone waiting to be chosen. Start showing up like someone who already knows they're worthy, complete, magnetic. Because here's the hard truth. If your identity is the one who's still becoming, you'll never reach the version who already is. You must become the identity now, before the evidence appears. That's what quantum jumping is really about. It's not pretending. It's not forcing. It's a full-body, full-belief shift into the version of you who already lives it. Most people live in what I call the identity feedback loop. They feel like they don't have what they want, so they act like someone who's trying, which reinforces the belief that they're not there yet, which creates more of the same reality, and the cycle repeats. Quantum jumping breaks that loop. It says, I no longer identify as the one who's waiting. I am now the version who already lives this reality. And I choose to act, think, feel, and move as them, even before it's real. Especially before it's real. Because the field doesn't respond to what's real. It responds to what's consistent. When your energy matches your future self, not just in your mind, but in your nervous system, you become a magnet for the timeline where that version of you already exists. Reality starts to shift. People treat you differently. New opportunities appear, synchronicities become normal. Your decisions come from inner knowing, not fear, and it feels less like trying to become, and more like remembering who you've always been. Here's a simple activation practice. Identify the version of you you want to jump into. Be specific. How do they feel? How do they speak? What do they believe? About life? Embody that version in small ways today. Posture, tone of voice, decisions, self-talk. Embody their confidence, their calm, their certainty. Eliminate anything that reinforces your current limiting identity. Old habits, victim stories, excuses. You're not becoming anymore. You're shifting. Reinforce the new identity with aligned action. Do what that version of you would do, even if it scares you. Especially if it scares you. And here's the secret. You don't have to be 100% perfect to shift. You just need to stop rehearsing the old you and start repeating the energy of the new you long enough for the field to recognize the new signal. You don't need to earn the life you want. You just need to remember the version of you who already lives it, because they're not far away. They're right here, waiting for you to collapse the illusion of who you think you are and step into the truth of who you've always been. And once you shift into that identity, reality adjusts around you, not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. So, how do you actually do it? How do you jump timelines and align with the version of yourself who already has the life you're trying to create? The answer might surprise you, because it doesn't start with a list of steps. It doesn't begin in the mind. It doesn't require special abilities or some perfect vibe. It begins with something much deeper and much simpler. A decision. Not a logical decision. A vibrational decision. A full body, full heart, full frequency declaration. I am no longer that version of me. I choose this one now. And then, you stop looking back. Imagine quantum jumping like walking across a bridge of energy. On one side, there's the you you've known, the one who doubts, hesitates, tries, hopes. On the other side is the you who lives in trust, who feels aligned, who already has what you're seeking. That bridge isn't built by hoping, it's built by being. Each time you think, feel, and act as the future you, you're laying another piece of that bridge, and one day, maybe after one moment of real surrender, you step across, and nothing is the same. Let me give you a powerful process you can start using tonight. Tune in, sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply until your thoughts begin to soften. Then ask yourself, what version of me is already living the reality I desire? Don't think, feel. This version of you already exists. They're not wishing, they're living. Let them appear in your awareness. Feel their frequency. What does this version of you believe? How do they walk? What do they no longer tolerate? What kind of decisions do they make? What energy do they radiate? Now, merge with that version. See yourself stepping into their body. Breathe like them. Sit like them. Let their frequency overwrite yours. This is not imagination. This is entrainment. Syncing your field with theirs. Drop the old timeline. Now here's the most important part, and the one most people resist. Let go of the version of you who isn't ready. Say goodbye to the one who overthinks, who doubts, who waits for permission. You can't jump while holding on to the past. You can't shift realities while trying to bring your old self with you. Let it die. Let it dissolve. Let it go with love. But let it go, because every time you step back into that identity, you jump right back into that timeline. 4. Reinforce the new signal, open your eyes. And now, live as them. Make a decision they would make. Speak with their tone. Handle your phone, your tasks, your money, your conversations as they would. Walk through the day wearing their energy like a second skin. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional. Because the field doesn't respond to performance. It responds to resonance. And if your energy is consistent enough, the shift becomes inevitable. You're not waiting. You're broadcasting. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not waiting for your new reality to show up. Your new reality is waiting for you to become the signal that matches it. The moment you embody the version of yourself who already lives that life, you begin pulling that timeline toward you, like gravity. It's not about earning the upgrade. It's about collapsing into it. And the collapse begins the moment you say, "This is who I am now." The secret isn't effort, it's identity. Plus, emotion. Quantum jumping doesn't happen by trying harder. It happens by letting go deeper. Letting go of needing proof. Letting go of performing a new version. Letting go of the fear that it won't work. The moment you trust the jump trusts you back. You don't force the quantum field, you sync with it. You don't need to create a new version of you. You just need to remember them. They already exist. Quantum jumping is the moment you stop pretending you're not ready and start living as if you've already arrived. And when you do, reality doesn't argue. It aligns. You've visualized. You've felt it. You've even started acting like the future version of you. And yet, somehow, you keep falling back into the old patterns. The same thoughts, the same emotions, the same reactions. It's frustrating, isn't it? You think, what am I missing? Why can't I stay in the new timeline? Am I doing something wrong? And the truth is, you're not doing it wrong. But you may be doing one thing that's holding it all in place. You're trying to jump while holding the old you. Imagine trying to leap across a canyon while dragging a suitcase full of bricks behind you. That's what most people do when they attempt a quantum jump. They start aligning with the new version of themselves. But they're still emotionally entangled with the old one. They say, "I'm abundant now," but still obsess over bills. "I trust the universe," but still check for signs every hour. "I'm confident," but still shrink when challenged. There's a part of them that hasn't let go. A hidden identity still whispering, "What if this isn't real? What if I fall back? What if I'm just pretending?" And that whisper is enough to pull you right back. The quantum field reflects your deepest truth. Here's the secret. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you say out loud. It responds to the identity you won't let go of. You can repeat affirmations all day. You can meditate every morning. You can act like your future self on social media. But if deep down, you still believe you are the version of you who struggles, who doubts, who isn't ready, then that's the version the field will respond to. Because energy doesn't lie. It's not what you perform. It's what you believe in silence. To truly jump timelines, you have to do something most people avoid. Let the old you go. Yes, grieve them if you have to. Honor them. Thank them. But release them. Because as long as you keep a back door open to the old identity, as long as you keep just-in-case patterns running in the background, you'll keep energetically choosing that version again and again and again. And this is the part where the leap becomes real. You don't get to bring your doubt into the new timeline. You don't get to bring your fear. You don't get to bring the version of you that was never ready. To shift fully, you must surrender completely. The loop of collapse. Here's how the cycle tends to go. You feel inspired. You jump into a higher version of you. Life starts shifting. Things feel lighter, more aligned. A challenge appears. Old fear resurfaces. Instead of holding your new identity, you slip back into the old one. Reality mirrors it, and you say, "See, It didn't work. You collapse back into the timeline you just escaped. This isn't failure. This is feedback. It's the universe saying, choose again, anchor deeper, be who you said you are. The timeline you want already exists, but only one version of you gets to live it, the version who won't look back. If you feel like you keep jumping but not staying, here's what you do. Locate the attachment. What belief, emotion, or identity are you still clinging to? Make it conscious, write it down, name it, shine light on it. Bless it, then burn it, not with shame, with gratitude. Say, thank you for keeping me safe, but I no longer need this. 4. Step forward, and don't flinch. When the doubt returns, and it will, recognize it as the echo of the old you. Not truth, just habit. And in that moment, choose again. You can't jump into a new identity while defending the old one. The universe listens to your clarity, not your confusion. So be clear, be bold, be done. Say goodbye to the version of you who was always trying, and say hello to the one who simply is. Because when the old you is no longer available, the new timeline has no choice but to become your home. Get ready to complete the shift. Let's seal this with power and purpose. If you've come this far, if you've felt even a flicker of recognition in your chest, a deep remembering that whispers, "This is who I've always been," then you're not just watching a video anymore. You're standing at the edge of a choice, the edge of a timeline, the edge of a version of you who's no longer trying, no longer chasing, no longer doubting. And from here, there's only one thing left to do. Jump, not by effort, not by force, but by frequency, by identity, by embodying what you now know is already yours. Let's be clear, you are not becoming your future self. You are remembering them, because they've always been there. In the quiet moments, in the bold visions, in the pull you feel when something inside says, there's more. I was made for more. You were never meant to live small. You were never meant to loop the same patterns. You were never meant to wait for permission. You were made to leap, to collapse the illusion, to shift, and now, you are. So, what happens now? From here, the only work left is to practice the new signal. Every time you feel doubt, every time the old identity tries to resurface, every time your mind says nothing is changing, you get to choose again. Because jumping isn't just a one-time moment. It's a new way of being. A new way of responding to life. A new way of showing up to decisions. A new way of holding yourself when no one is watching. That's how you lock in the shift. That's how you stay in the new timeline. Not by begging, not by proving, but by simply saying, this is who I am now. The quantum field has no concept of time. It doesn't care how long you've struggled, how many mistakes you've made, or how many times you've failed. It only cares about the signal you're broadcasting now. So, what are you broadcasting? Are you still waiting? Or are you choosing? Because right now, in this very moment, you are collapsing either the timeline of hesitation or the timeline of embodiment. You don't need more tools. You don't need more proof. You don't need to get ready. You just need to decide and hold the frequency of that decision like your life depends on it. Because in a way, it does. The life you were born for is on the other side of that decision. If this message sparked something inside you, if a part of your soul just whispered, yes, then anchor it here. Now, declare it. Leave a comment below. I choose the version of me who already lives it. That one sentence tells the quantum field, I'm done with the old story. I'm no longer the one who waits. I am now the frequency of what I once desired. This is how timelines collapse. This is how realities bend. This is how you shift